see you brought yours just like I brought mine. Just put underneath. Yeah, just put underneath the things. I have. I have one more thing. In my stuff, I have one of these. It's like the one at the cemetery. Do you know it? Are you? Because I'll tell you this.
Well, you bring it with you because I'll just follow him.
Yeah, because I, by the way, I do. I just like. I'm not going there.
Well, really, it is.
I know this. There was actually somebody who used to last week.
I actually went to a video one.
They're good for me.
And then it was playing.
Okay. Right.
Mizmor David. Adonai roi lo exar, pinoteshe diarbitzeni. Al me menuchat inachalani. Nafshi Yehoshove Yancheni v'maglet tzedek laman shemo. Kam ki elech b'geit salvamen lo yirara ki ata imadi. Shiftecha umin shantecha Hema yanachamuni. Taroch lefanai, shulchan negetzorerai. Di shanta vashem et roshi, kosi revaya. Ach tov v'chesed, yerdefuni kol yemei chayam. V'shavti b'veit Adonai le'orech yamim. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, giving me repose in green meadows, leading me beside the still waters to revive my spirit, guiding me on the right path, for that is God's essence. Though I walk through a valley of the shadow of death, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your staff and your rod, they comfort me. You prepare a banquet for me in the presence of my foes. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and kindness shall be the portions of all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I love that little helper. Anytime. That voice. Beautiful. We are here this afternoon to say farewell to Clara Goldie Kravetsky. Chaya Golda, bat Shmuel Aharon, Vasora Devora. Beautiful Hebrew name. She passed away on January the 18th, which is equivalent in Hebrew calendar to the 21st of Tevet, in the year 5780, at the age of 87. Yesterday I met with her nieces, Hillel Kravetsky and Sharon Diamond, Danielle Kravetsky and Audrey, and we discussed, at least I needed to know a little bit about her. Of course, I didn't know her. She was predeceased by her husband Alvin, her parents Sam and Sonia Porter, and her sister Elsie Porter. The customary eulogies that are done at funerals are really a very interesting custom, because in Judaism, doing a eulogy, presenting a eulogy, giving a eulogy is considered to be literally one of the highest mitzvot, good deeds that we can do. Why? Because the person that we are eulogizing isn't here to thank us. So, under Hillen's guidance, he will come up and present part of the eulogy, and I understand others will as well, and I'll ask them to introduce themselves when they come up. So, Hillel, I think you're first online.
Thank you. This is a little bit surreal because all of you know as much or more about Goldie as I do. And so to stand up here is a little presumptuous of me, and I'm certainly not going to be able to add a lot that you already don't know. But I'm going to do it anyways. To be here today is not a shock or a surprise to any of us. Goldie's diagnosis was shared with her nieces and nephews, families, and friends. Understanding the situation, Goldie decided not to pursue any treatment or intervention of any kind. As was her wish, She remained in her condominium until her need for more care took her ultimately to the Grace Hospice. Hers was a long and drawn-out demise, which was miserable for her and heartbreaking to witness. But her stay at hospice allowed us the opportunity to visit Goldie individually and as a family, and to bring some comfort to her in her final weeks, knowing that she was being well treated and cared for by the staff at the Grace Hospice. Goldie passed away yesterday at 7:32 a.m. with her second favorite nephew, Daniel, at her side. Born on March 12, 1932, to Sam and Sonia Dora Porter, Clara Goldie was predeceased by her sister Elsie, her parents, and her husband Alvin. Her life from an early age was inexorably intertwined with the Kravetsky family. From marriage to business to pleasure, the families were as one in all respects, and everything was a collaboration. Goldie's father, Sam, was business partners with my father, Fred. Too bad for him. Goldie, as a young child, was a flower girl at my parents' wedding and was a member of the family from that time, long before she married my Uncle Alvin, who she knew from childhood. Goldie was like a big sister to me and to my siblings, Gary, Arna, Martin, and Daniel. She was our first babysitter and continued to guide us and watch over us her entire life. Although Goldie did not have children, she had us and we had her. She was our second mother from the time we were born until her end. Whether it was Porter's Transfer and Storage, the Beachcomber, the House of Lords, or any other project, Goldie was swept up in these joint ventures, owning, managing, and operating them. And she had to contend with all of us, showing up at the coffee shop or Beachcomber, day and night, for lunch or dinner, with our boyfriends, with our girlfriends, and later with our wives. Goldie was part and parcel of our lives, through good and bad, every simcha, every yontif, every tragedy. Goldie's mother and my parents owned a cottage together on Elm Street in Winnipeg Beach. Off the living room was a bedroom for Auntie Porter and a bedroom for my parents. Passing through 3 other bedrooms for the kids was a large bedroom with a veranda, which was strictly reserved for Goldie and Alvin. As children, we would stay there all summer. On weekends, I recall Goldie and Alvin arriving on Friday evening in either his Lincoln Continental or Goldie's Cadillac Eldorado, all laden with bags from Guns and Omnitskis. Together, our families had 2 boats. My father named the first Goldie C, and the second, larger one, Goldie C II, on neither of which Goldie ever set foot. When Goldie and Alvin were able to get away on vacation, it was often to Hawaii, where they met year after year with friends whom she continued to cherish until the end. And so it was, although having no biological children, Goldie and Alvin were the parents to a litany of nieces, nephews, great-nieces and nephews, and great-great ones too. For over 60 years, every week was marked by Sunday at Gigi's house, where there was a convergence of family for food, fun, and camaraderie. It is somehow fitting that we have gathered here once again on another Sunday, family and friends, to honor this outstanding woman. She was the glue which bound us together. She will live in our hearts and continue to be the inspiration for our future generations. Thank you all for coming, supporting Goldie during these hard times, and for being with us now. Thank you. Bill, who's up next?
You tell me, you're in charge.
Up next, Barbara.
If you can't go over. Introduce
Well,
yourself.
I'm Barbara Kravetsky. Martin was my ex-husband, and Goldie meant a lot to me, so just wrote a few things down. Okay. It is with much sadness that we are here today to say our last goodbye to Goldie Kravetsky. So how do you say goodbye to someone you've known and loved for more than half of your life? It's not easy. It hurts so much. Goldie was a one-of-a-kind person. She was one of the kindest people I have ever known. In fact, in all the years I've known her, I don't think I ever saw her get angry or raise her voice. She never said a bad word about anyone and was always there for you no matter what you needed. She had the biggest capacity for love, and it showed itself in so many ways. One thing that stands out above all others is the love she had for her family. Although not by birth, she was like a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother to us all. One of her greatest joys was seeing all the kids. Her eyes would light up every time she saw Mina, Anna, Gary, Benji, Seth, Aiden, Jack, Henry, Jamie, Noah, and Nate. Unfortunately, she'll never get the chance to meet Shannon's new baby, but I know just like all the kids, she would have loved him so much too. We were her children, and she was our Gigi. It wasn't a Sunday morning or afternoon if someone wasn't sitting at Gigi's table. It didn't matter if it was the house on Waverly or the apartment at 160 Tuxedo. We will all truly miss those days. Although we talked on the phone many times, one thing I regret is not spending as much time with her as I should have. When things in my life changed, I wasn't sure where I belonged anymore. She told me, no matter what my situation was, I was always welcome in her home. Saying that meant so much to me. When I found out how sick she was, I knew I had to be there for her more often. I'm glad I had the chance to see her. She had many difficult days, but I know she knew I was there for her. We all love Goldie, but there were two very special people in her life, Hillel and Daniel. They took such good care of her before and during her illness. Although it was never put into words, I know how much she appreciated their love and devotion. Goldie would be very pleased and honored to see that you have come here to be with us. Family and friends were very important to her. It was everyone's continued support that was so valuable to her in the final weeks of her illness. My memories of Goldie are simple. She was a hard-working, passionate figure of strength that never stopped loving and supporting her family. Goldie, you have given us gifts that are more precious than anything. Your memory will live forever in our hearts. Your suffering is now over and you can be at peace. Alvin is waiting for you. Would you please say hello for all of us? I love you and I will miss you greatly.
As I mentioned, I didn't know her. I wish I had. Hillel, you didn't clarify though. You said who her second favorite nephew was, but not who the first one.
There's only one first favorite.
I see. We'll figure that out ourselves. Although I said I didn't know her, I do have a connection to her. I did not know that the beachcomber was her. When I first started to date my wife, I remember, I said earlier, saving for weeks and booking a date there and showing up, and whoever the maitre d' was, I can't remember who that person was, sat us at a place where this chair that I sat in was this huge thing. It looked like I was the king of the Persian Gulf or something, and they treated us royally because it's our first date, and they assumed this was our first date for us, at least the first big date. So that little small beginning I cherished, that Goldie was responsible to 43 years of wonderful marriage between my wife and I. Well, let me clarify it. It's 43 years for me, but 86 for my wife. You know, in just hearing what was said about her briefly, the impression that I had is someone who was an extremely hard worker. I think you said yesterday that she was very grateful to be part of the Kravetsky family because they provided her with children that she didn't have. And I gather she treated you like her children, everyone, and just reveled in the actions and activities and successes and failures of everyone. I heard a little story. She asked her 9-year-old nephew when she went to Hawaii, what would you like? And he said, I would like a stuffed skunk. And she spent the entire holiday looking and found a stuffed skunk, which that 9-year-old boy just threw out a few years ago because it was just falling apart. It amazes me the kind of family passion that she had. So for those of you who knew her, I don't think it's very difficult for you to remember her hard work, her passion, her loyalty, her kindness. Those are the kind of qualities that Judaism really revels in, and something that we can continue in her memory. And I hope you do. It is customary to recite the El Mali Rachamim, the memorial prayer, at this time. And I will do that in both Hebrew and English. And again, if you are comfortable doing so, and I mean that, it is also customary to stand for the El Mali Rachamim in respect for it. El Rachamim Shochen Bamromim Hametze Menucha Nachonat Tachat Kanfei Hashkina B'mahalot Kedoshim Udchorim Kezohar Harakia Maskirim Et Nishmat Chaya Golda bat Shmuel Aharon v'Sora Devora Shalcha le'alama Bagan Eden tehe menuchatam Anna habal harachamim Hasti reich b'tzetek enofech olalomim Utzror bitzror achemit nishmatam Adonai hunachalatam ותנוח בשלום על משכבם, ונאמר Amen. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence, among the holy and the pure, to the soul of Clara Goldie Kravetsky, Chaya Golda bat Shmuel Aharon v'Sora Devora, who is gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace. And let us all say, Amen. You may be seated. So in a moment we're going to proceed to the interment at the Sherry Tzedek Cemetery, which is on the corner of Armstrong and Main. If you are going to follow us to the cemetery, please put your flashing lights on and follow us, obviously, but make sure that you stop at all of the red lights, that we no longer get a ride through. I would not want anyone to get any kind of an accident. So at this time, I would like to invite the pallbearers to take their spot beside the coffin at the back, and we'll just wait a moment until you exit. As well as they move on, I would like to ask the family to also get dressed and go to their transportation at this time as well. Just as you are getting ready, I want to also let you know there is no Shiva, but I understand, Hillel, you're coming back here to say for the first service at 6? Oh, okay. I'm inviting you to come back. Everyone is invited back here following the interment for a gathering in her honor. It'll be at the... As the family gets ready, and you'll be asked in a moment also to exit and get ready, I'd like you to form 2 lines at the back inside the lobby to honor her farewell for the very last time.
associate.